Hey guys, this is Ray Lopez, and you're watching Culture Clash Network. Hey guys, this is Ray Lopez, and you're watching Mark Swift Mics. Hey guys, it's Ray Lopez. You're watching Culture Clash Network.
What's the deal, y'all?
What's good?
What up, though?
It's your girl, the Caribbean Chocolate, Jocelyn Navarro.
Good. It's the one that you get to a lot.
Now somebody hit my music.
What's the deal, y'all?
What's good?
What up, though?
What's the deal, y'all?
What's good?
What up, though?
What's the deal, y'all?
What's good?
What up, though?
It's your girl, the Caribbean Chocolate, Jocelyn Navarro.
Good. It's the one that you get to a lot.
Now somebody hit my music.
I'm contemplating and chasing, handling biz right now. We never waiting and patient, jumping at the crib right now. Put up my label, we make it stay in legit right now. Could call the doctor, we operate and they sick us in right.
And we are back. Look, we back again. Of course, you already know where it's by the sound of my voice. It's your boy, 6'9" JT, back in this piece once again. And I am joined by a special guest from the Culture Clash Network, returning back for the second time on the show. We got Represent Society and Pop Culture 101.
Yes,
Supernova
indeed.
Kane in the building. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just keeping an eye out for my baby. You guys might end up hearing her here and there.
And of course, we could not do it any different. Today, we are going on another interview trip. We are joined by this gentleman right here who reached out to us. He has an upcoming novel coming out called Lock Up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no other than Mr. Ray Lopez. How's it going?
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Thanks for having me.
Hey.
Thanks for having you on, man. Thank you for coming to the congregation. The doors of the church, of course, always open. So,
Yes.
first and foremost, my guy, we have to start this off right. How did you get into this thing that we call wrestling?
Yeah, how did I guess it happened back when I was a kid, when I was like 8 years old. It was a difficult time for me and my family. My grandfather was about to pass away, and my birthday was like right around the corner. So my parents said, well, we don't want to throw you a party. So instead of having a party, WWE was coming to town, WWF at the time. They said, hey, do you want to, we'll take you to the show at the old Freeman Coliseum, and instead of having a party. So we went. It was my first live match, and man, I just fell in love with it right then and there. Saw it. It was a great experience, and I've been a fan ever since.
Okay. So what matches from that card can you remember from back then?
Oh, I was really young, but it was, I think there was like Ultimate Warrior was on the card. Hacksaw Jim Duggan was there. Yeah, I remember some of the guys. I don't remember the specifics of the match because, it was a non-televised event and I was 8 years old. It's one of those you wish you could go back and rewatch, but I don't think I can ever that. But I remember it was the guys of that era. Hogan was there, Ultimate Warrior, I was a little kid just losing my mind going crazy for them.
We got you. So you came up basically during that era, the golden era, as they called it, during the 80s, early 90s, right?
Right. Yeah, I think I came up, but the way I remember in my early 40s, and I think the way I grew up was kind of perfect with professional wrestling. When you were a kid, it was all about the Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior and those cartoonish characters, and then there's kind of that middle period, and then by the time we hit our teenage years, bam, we were into the Attitude Era with Stone Cold and Papa the Beers and The Rock and all that. So kind of the work that lined up perfectly, I think, for people of my age about how wrestling was perfect tailored for kids when we were young kids, and it was moving to more adult as we were maturing too as people. So kind of funny how that worked out for us early 40 people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely came up right because, I mean, we basically grew up with it and basically got it our lives. How many times did you get suspended for doing the DX Croc Shop?
Man, I think it was so popular at the time. DX was so hot. Everybody in my school was doing it. If you would have suspended people for doing the crop shop, they wouldn't have had anybody at that school. So, yeah, they let it slide. But
yeah, man, it was pretty cool for us. Like, we had factions in school, like whole factions. You had people that was NWO Wolfpack, NWO Black and White. You had people that were LWO. Like, this shit was real. People were taking this to school with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you rep NWO? What your colors at? You black and red or black and white? It's like, damn, it's not that serious. All out gang warfare out here with the wrestling factions. So my
serious deal.
The next question would be this. So you went to your first match when you were 8. Of course, you talked about having, the colorful characters and things like that. How was it for you transitioning from that new generation era to the Attitude Era? Because you got the chance to have WCW and WWF and an ECW at the time. So as a kid, which one were you watching?
I would probably be watching WWF at that time. They still had Shawn Michaels, and I'm from San Antonio, so we love Shawn Michaels down here. He was putting on some banger matches, so I know it was a dull period, I guess, creatively, kind of a stale period, but yeah, I'd be watching that and WCW. Go back and forth between those two. We didn't get ECW down in San Antonio, Texas, when I was growing up, so that didn't come till a little later, until I think the Attitude Era. I really kind of discovered it. Then when it got picked up on those mainstream networks, then I really started discovering ECW and how cool the stuff they were doing out there was.
So yeah, that sucks, bro. You didn't get a chance to get ECW as a kid.
Nah, we got a little bit later, a little bit late. Once they got their major network deals, then we started finding out about it.
As a kid, bro, ECW was like grunge music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like Nirvana. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like that hidden Easter egg, but it picked up. And it's crazy how it picked up towards the end of its actual run. Very crazy. Nova, you got something lined up for him?
Yes, I actually do have a couple of questions. Like I said, I was just dealing with the baby real quick, but so you guys didn't get ECW, so you said you got WWE, WCW. I would like to know your top 5 wrestlers of all time.
Top 5 of all time. Well, I guess I'll do it in no particular order. In no particular order for the 5, because that ranking, you'll be here all day ranking them.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to put Ric Flair. He's got to make that top 5 for sure.
Okay.
If anybody could cut a promo and perform in the ring and have that total combination of those two, I don't think anybody's ever done it better than Ric Flair. I'd put Shawn Michaels in there against San Antonio guy. He is one of the best in the ring ever, probably the best bell-to-bell worker there ever was. Stone Cold would be in there for the impact he's had on the business and everything like that. I might be loading up with Texas guys and be a little partial there, but I put the Undertaker also.
You got a little biasness going on.
You might say that, but I put the Undertaker in there. I mean, his career spanned so many years, the boss for 20 years of backstage, probably the most perfect finishing maneuver with the Tombstone Piledriver for his character, for how devastating it looked, and his entrances, of course, the most memorable. I think we're at 4 on the 5th one, rounded out. It's tough one. You got to consider Brett. There's others out there to catch that 5th spot. I'd probably go with The Rock. Coming in at 5, just because I know his career is kind of relatively short compared to some of these other guys, because he was called up to the world of Hollywood in totally understandable. But for the moments that he did give us, man, those were some of the most entertaining stuff that we've seen on a professional wrestling screen. So I put The Rock in there.
Okay.
Rounded it out.
That's a really solid top 5. And I'm glad that you're not too much older than me, because you actually named everybody in your top 5 I've known and seen some matches.
Right, yeah. Yeah, when people give their top 5, they start talking about Bruno Sammartino, and hell, even sometimes Terry Funk. People are like, well, they didn't really, people of a certain age didn't really watch those matches back.
I didn't get to see them. They were before my time, right. So it's like, I can't really measure it. And then their style of wrestling is completely different than what they brought in the 90s and the early 2000s.
Right, yeah. I think the level of entertainment is just kind of different. Once they added everything else to it, put the showmanship on it, it just kind of elevated it. It's kind of almost comparing like the old school guys and the new school guys. It's tough to do because they didn't have all that machine of showmanship behind them.
Yeah.
That everybody's got now. And I think it had back in the 90s.
How do you like the way wrestling has gone today?
I mean, I think it's a great period of it. There's wrestling on TV probably more than we've ever seen in a long time. AEW is a great thing. WWE's hitting it on all times. They're kind of taking a break, which, I kind of like the schedule. Call me crazy, but I like what they're doing in this fall schedule where even with the live taping, they're giving their people time off. I feel good about that because it's the holidays coming on, and this is such a busy time with there's so many sports going on. It's kind of good to be like a little rest period. Wrestling never takes a break, but it's kind of nice that they took a little dive, even for the fans, kind of like a little bit of a reprieve. Just that misshaving that 1 hour off Raw. Call me crazy, but I kind of like it just for the fall. And then I think once football season is done, definitely we've got to put it back up to that 3 hours because people start having the time.
I love it for my life right now. It was starting to be a struggle trying to get to that 10, 11 o'clock part. Like,
right. And so is that coming back? I don't know if they're going to bring that back when they do the Netflix thing.
That's a good question.
I guess that Netflix, though, they can just run it however long they run it. If they want to run like 2 hours and 46 minutes, it's not, they don't have that time frame on it. So that'll make it interesting. Make the 5 final matches like not as predictable as when they're going to end. I mean, right now you're staring at your TV and you're like, oh, they're going off the air at 9 o'clock. Like, this has got to finish real fast.
Exactly.
I guess with Netflix, we won't have that problem, right? It can go off when it goes off. It'll make it a little better for the finish at the finale.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Definitely like that. Let's see. Have you, far as do you still attend shows now?
Oh yeah, every time I go, every time I can. Happy that me and some of my friends are gonna have a reunion at WrestleMania. We're getting ready, gearing up for Vegas, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. But anytime they come into my area, any company, big company, of course, depends on what else I got in my personal schedule. But if I can make it out there, man, I'm always out there. I'm gonna try to go to every show. And once they come in, they announce them so far in advance that usually I can make it, unless I'm out of town or something like that. So I go to pretty much every show that comes to town. I know Bound for Glory with TNA was here recently at the Port Center in San Antonio. It was a small little show, but it was cool. I went and checked it out. They put on a good show.
Okay. You got All In coming up in Texas.
Right. Yeah, it's going up to Dallas, right? Yeah.
So is it safe to say we may see you pop up on our TV screens?
I'll be there in the crowd, most likely. I mean, I don't know if I can make All In this year with Mania. It's a big ask from the missus for both of them in 1 year. But if permission I can get granted, I definitely would love to be up there, man. The AEW puts on some killer shows.
They do. They really do. My whole thing is people get caught up. I was one of those people that got caught up into like the ratings and trying to compare it to WWE, but you can't compare the two animals. They're totally different. It's like trying to compare a tiger and a mountain lion. Two different animals, may look the same, but not the same. So you have to really be able to differentiate the two. Speaking of two, so you mentioned going to shows in TNA, you mentioned to going to shows with AEW, WWE. What was your best experience as a fan going to those shows?
The best one I've seen in person was probably at the Royal Rumble. This was right before COVID in Houston, Texas. Made the trip out there. It was, I say, when Edge returned. It's probably the best moment I've seen live. I was also at that last Royal Rumble at the Alamo Dome where the end with the bloodline finishing and the turn on Sami Zayn. That was a pretty epic finish. I remember that crowd was a little disappointed because we all had hopes that we'd see a Rock appearance at some point, but he didn't get there. He wasn't there just yet, but that was a great one. But I'd say Edge returns. Edge returns at the Royal Rumble. Best moment I've seen.
That was a couple of years ago, right?
I want to say right before COVID started. So
right before COVID, Now that pop was crazy. I think I remember that one.
Yeah, because that was like one of the last events I was able to do before the world started shutting down. So
yeah, wrestling live is a whole experience. That's very for sure. So tell us about this book.
Yeah, so Lockup is a different kind of wrestling book that I've come up with. It's got 13 unique chapters, which can be read in any order. Each chapter is like individual, not connected to the other one.
Okay.
So in it, we talk about all kinds of topics of society and wrestling. We talk about Hollywood and the intermingling of Hollywood and wrestling. There's a chapter about football and how the world of football and professional wrestling have collided. There's one on reality TV. One that pays homage to the greatest matches of all times is kind of a match hall of fame. For world professional wrestling, there's so many Hall of Fames out there. We selected some matches in the Match Hall of Fame and broke them down. Talked about their build, the actual match, what we saw, the craziness of it, and the legacy that they left. There's other ones that are kind of exploratory as far as professional wrestling chapter. One's called that I think I'm getting a great response for it right now that people are loving it. It's called The Math and Science of a Wrestler. There, we've made 30 different graphs. 30 different pages for iconic wrestlers. Each wrestler gets three graphs that kind of explain and break down their career as far as their gimmick, how long they were heel face, how long they were actually wrestling. And actually wrestling means they were a professional wrestler, but we subtracted all the time that professional wrestlers missed for a variety of reasons. Like if they switch companies and are under a non-compete clause, that time gets out. If they're injured and they're on the shelf and they're gone for 6 months, we take out that time. If they're doing rehab, if they're just on vacation, we take out that. So we figured out how much years did people actually log as being like actively part of the screen. And then we figured out how much of those years that they logged did they spend as a champion of, say, the world heavyweight champion. What percentage of the career was that? What percentage were they the middle card champion, the IC champion, United States, what have you? What percentage they were a tag champion, and then overall just how much time they were carrying any type of gold. So if you were carrying any type of gold, what percentage of your career was carrying any type of gold? Did you have some type of belt dragging around you? So that was a kind of a complex one, but we did it for 30 for 30 iconic wrestlers. Probably the 30 y'all would guess if you started listing. My top 5 is all definitely in there. And, and more. So we break it down from a variety of perspectives. There's some chapters that are more serious, like one called Race in the Ring that chronicles about the history of people of color, minorities, and how they've been portrayed in the world of professional wrestling, the good, the bad, just what we've seen. And then there's another one called Shattering Glass, where we explore the women's evolution and kind of how they've evolved as part of the world of professional wrestling. So there's a lot of different chapters in here on a lot of different topics. It's something for everyone. It's even if you're a novice and you're just getting into the world of professional wrestling, I think you'll like it. We kind of go over the world really well. And if you're one of those hardcore fans that knows a lot about professional wrestling, these graphs and charts are full of information that any hardcore fan would get into. There's a lot of other stuff in there too that even the hardcore wrestling fans that know a lot of the history will have a lot of fun with.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out myself.
Yeah, this does sound exciting.
And I'm somewhere in the middle, so I'm definitely gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a new take on it. It's very visual. We got, like I said, we got those graphs. We have illustrations. Each chapter comes with a pretty good illustration. Shout out to Eduardo Romero. He's a local artist here in San Antonio that we commissioned, and he jumped on board when he found this project. And he came up with the cover and some really cool illustrations for each of the chapter. So there's timelines, there's charts, there's there's brackets, there's tables, there's all kinds of things. It's not just your traditional read-through type of novel book. It's some fun, some different that I think the fans will really, dig once they get into it.
Okay. I love it. Where can we pick this book at?
Yeah, the book's available now at Amazon. It's on pre-order at Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, wherever you find books. You could also go to the publisher's website, mascotbooks.com. Look for Lockup on the publisher's website. They'll get it to you maybe a little quicker because the release is coming out on December the 3rd. So it's for pre-order right now on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles. And it's going to be coming out soon. I hope everybody checks it out. I think it's going to be fun.
All right, December 3rd. Y'all heard that. December 3rd.
Put that inside your Christmas stocking too. You know what
yes.
I'm saying? It's a nice present.
Yes.
And get one for the wrestling fan in your life. You got that buddy who's a wrestling fan. I think any wrestling fan is going to love the breakdown of things we do, from elaborate multi-man matches that we've come up with that are kind of outlandish and just fun to talk about to, there's one chapter called the Squared Circle Presidents where we debate. We take from 1980 going to 2024, every 4 years, we're electing a president of the world of professional wrestling. So we select two of the top people of that era, of that time, and then we kind of like have a fun little debate about which one gets to be the president for the next 4 years and why. We lay the preamble about like how the world of professional wrestling is, what's the current state of it, what are the qualifications, what we're looking for, and then we break down our candidates and kind of have fun with it. We go all the way back from 1980 up until today, talking about all the stars that we've seen over the years.
Okay.
So what inspired you to write this book?
Yeah, this book really came together at the beginning of COVID. All of a sudden I found myself with a lot more time on my hand than I normally had. So to keep me from kind of bouncing off the walls, I was like, I got to focus on a project. I got to do something to put together. I was like, well, I've always wanted to write a book. I wanted to write a book early on, like after I graduated from college. But, following that, I went on to law school and kind of never had time to, go back into writing again. Well, now one of the blessings of COVID, I guess a blessing in disguise, the silver lining, if you will, it gave people a lot more time to like delve into projects. Writing was one of those for me. So I've always been a fan of professional wrestling, but I just got even heavier involved to it, read more books, started watching it a lot more than I used to, had it on all the time, and it's like really just focused and did a lot of research and came up with this project. So it was something that grew out of all that extra time that we had, and I think what we've come up with is going to be pretty fun for folks.
Nice. Man, this does sound very exciting, and I can hear the passion in your voice when you're talking about it. This is something that you really dedicated some time to, put some thought into, and it's a passion of yours that you like outside of your regular career. So hats off to you, because trying to balance a career and trying to balance something else that's not directly connected to your career can be challenging. So my hat is off to you as far as being able to balance this, especially saying that, you went to law school and, probably practicing as an attorney at this moment. So caseloads, having to read through different people's cases and represent them, and then find time to jot down, back in 1977, this person is this. Like that's a lot to balance, man. So my hat is off to you on that.
Yes.
And for all those people, young writers out there, people like that, I think that's one of the things that I really loved about the hobby, if you will, is that you can do it at your own time. So it's going to take as long as it's going to take. I had to prioritize my law career and my family first, but that's part of one of the joys of the book, is that you can work on it when you get the time and put in time here, put in time there. You get extra 30 minutes here or 30 minutes there. I would find myself sometimes in court, I was just waiting for my case to get called. We're ready to go. We got everything called out, but it might be a 30-minute wait. Hey, I get on my phone, I pull a Word document, I'm editing my paragraphs. I'm there editing a paragraph on Bret Hart, waiting for my case to get called. So just find the time wherever it is. But that's one of the beauties of writing, is that you can take your time with it and, work at your own pace. Work at your own pace.
I love it.
I love that for you, bro. Far as with your family definitely encouraged you and embraced this journey of the novel. So with that being said, with your family, you have children? Before I ask that.
I do. Yeah, no, I do have a son, but he's only 3 years old. So he's just at that age where I'm getting to give him rock bottoms and power bombs every night on the bed, put him to bed. So it's a good age. He doesn't really watch the show with me because obviously he's just 3. But he's already learning the moves, at least by taking him when he goes to bed.
I know that's right.
The thing about it is crazy. Like we actually, my son, I was watching my 2 boys. They're 4 and 2. My 2-year-old actually walked up behind my 4-year-old, wrapped his arms around him, and tried to give him a German suplex. So I really have to watch how much wrestling I'm intaking with them, because it's obvious that they are soaking it all in. And wrestling for me came at a very young age. Like when I think the first time I seen anything wrestling related, I think I was around that age, 3 years old. And moving on, like my first show was like around 5 or 6 going to. So who knows? The apple may not fall too far from the tree. You know what I'm saying? Like I know you got to put your action figures up pretty high to make sure it doesn't become a chew toy for the kid.
Yeah, he'll definitely get into the collection. But yeah, that's one of the pluses and minuses we were talking earlier about. The different wrestling leagues. I think that's one of the minuses of AEW is that some of the stuff they do just gets like too adult. And like I like professional wrestling to be adult, but not too adult where my kids walk into the room and I have to worry about like, oh crap, what is he gonna see? What's gonna happen? Because there's only so many hours in the day and I'm not gonna not spend them with my family, so I need to watch entertainment that's kind of like, okay, if a 3-year-old walks in, nobody's gonna get traumatized. So.
Right. And you said AEW is way more family oriented.
No, that's
I think it's the opposite. Yeah, I think it gets a little.
Okay. So
a little adult at times. At times, it gets a little adult.
Okay, gotcha. Because I'm a huge fan of WWE, and I told myself that I couldn't watch like AEW and TNA because I felt like that's the whole week of wrestling for me, and I have way too many interests. So
yeah.
But I've been thinking about watching, AEW when I can catch it. But you said it's definitely not child friendly.
Yeah, no. There's so much wrestling out there. It's hard for anybody to keep. I would challenge everybody to watch it all in any given week. It's a great time. There's so much to choose from, but there's also so many different ways you can look at it and watch it and consume it. When you get your morning workout in here or there, wherever it is.
You want to watch some wrestling, Mama?
You better watch out before you get a 619
from the baby.
Baby that's going 619 you one day. You're just going to be leaning over the bed and she's going to roll over in 619.
It's possible. Shoot, the way she moving already. High chance.
Very, very high chance on that. Kids grow so damn fast. It's amazing. Seems like yesterday I cut the umbilical cord. Now I got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old that talk back to me. It's crazy.
Those are the good years.
Yeah. They always say babies are the cutest up until they start responding. And responding with their own mind and thought process. But few questions before of course we wrap up with you here. First thing is I want to know is if you can book a dream match with anyone, present, past, non-living or living, who would it be?
I mean, the number one that would come to mind right at the top of the head that I think you got to give the people what they want is Undertaker versus Sting, as cliche as it was. We never got that classic Undertaker Sting showdown. That be a classic, and keeping with the Undertaker and Undertaker versus Andre the Giant match could be crazy. A Brock versus Andre the Giant match. Just watching those two pieces of human specimens walking in, the wow factor just watching those guys in. There's so many out there. You'd love to see like Danielson versus Dynamite Kid, similar styles, and watching those two guys go generational. If I could only pick one, I just by popular demand, I know it's the one that everybody would want to see. I'd stick with Undertaker v Sting. It's the one that everybody wants to see. It's just your Mike Tyson, Jake Paul of fantasy booking. Hopefully it would live up to it a little bit better. Live up to the
Yeah.
hype a little better.
Hopefully, it's not as fixed as that match was.
Yeah.
Right?
Man, did you like? So you did watch the Jake Paul and Logan? Jake Paul and
geez.
Mike Tyson fight.
If I wasn't watching that red circle of streaming with the number on it, then yeah, I was watching it.
You know what's funny? The illegal websites to pirate it didn't have the issue that Netflix had. I have a Netflix account, and someone hit me up and said, "Yo, just go to this website and watch it. It's not doing all that crashing out." I go to the website. I was able to watch the fight without so many crash outs, besides Netflix realizing that they're being pirated, of course. But I had very few crash outs. Like, I was able to watch two whole fights with no issue.
And that was a frustrating thing. Like, I got the extra expensive Netflix account where I pay for my parents too, so they have their separate household on that. I basically got two households on my account, and I still could not watch it. I ended up having to watch it on my phone, the main event, because it was just so many kinds of issues.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. Hopefully they can get their stuff ready for NFL and Raw. I mean, I know Raw, there's no way in hell Raw would pull in the kind of numbers that the Tyson and Paul audience had.
Raw not pulling those 60 million.
Oh, no, nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. But they better not have buffering issues. We'll all ask them. just don't buffer on me. Let me stream. Let me pause. Let me rewind. That stuff is, man, as a fan, that stuff is very annoying. You know what I really get annoyed with these services is WWE when they're doing these foreign shows, right? Okay, they want to go out of the country. Great, got no problem with that. Cool. But get the stream back to the time where I can rewind to the beginning if I show up 2 hours and 30 minutes late, because they're at all kinds of weird times. So people, I can't watch them all live. People have lives. So if I show up 2 hours later and I try to rewatch from the beginning, I can't, and I'm stuck somewhere in the middle of the match. The thing is so incredibly frustrating. If you're gonna do all these international shows on different timelines, you got to get that rewind playback instantly going, man. It's got to. It's so frustrating for the fans.
How do you think Netflix is going to do with WWE after all of that?
I mean, I don't think that they should be anywhere near the buffering issues as with Tyson and Paul. They're never going to capture an audience that big. So I think they'll be okay. Generally, they seem to be one of the more reliable streamers out there. I say they have less issues than I get with the Peacock. So if Peacock can handle the the pay-per-views, then they should be okay. But they also need to be able to have that rewind and that pause and all that stuff for Raw. Because we need that.
Yeah, we definitely need that rewind feature, because one thing, people can give shit to the WWE network as much as they want. One thing we can definitely say is we can go back, we can go to particular match start points and watch the matches. Don't get me wrong, I like Peacock, but the network was so much better.
There's a lot of things about the way they catalog things and the way you can search it and find for what content it is that you want. That it had a lot more options. I thought there were. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's been the same since Peacock. They don't even have it in chronological order. I remember Network used to have it. You could start from Royal Rumble. The next WWE pay-per-view would be da 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 da. Peacock doesn't even have it in chronological order. So if you wanted to watch pay-per-view after pay-per-view in chronological order, starting from whenever, you couldn't do that. You'd have to get on your phone and look up which pay-per-view was next and win. I only know this because that's what I did. But yeah.
Well, somebody had to do it. Figure it out.
Figure this shit out before it hits Netflix.
They should just chronicalize them. Make it easy. 1990 WWE pay-per-views, year 1992. Start with the first one and just put them all right there in the world for the fans to just work through that year.
It would make life so much easier. Speaking of life, my next question would be this. Out and about, when you're taking a jog, driving the car, what are you listening to?
Musical wise, I listen to a lot of the stuff from, I guess, in the 90s, in the early 2000s mostly. So I guess I'm at that age where I'm still stuck in my musical things. I don't listen to a ton of new music right now. Mostly 90s, 2000s, and 10s. Every once in a while, it's like a new song will catch my ear, but yeah, so I'm still stuck in that old days.
No, it's nothing wrong with that. I mean, to be honest, it's really not a lot of artists right there that are really feeding you mentally.
Yeah.
The way the music used to back in the day. Now it's pretty much the same old basis to the recipe when it does come to music. You know, we're gonna pop these bottles, we're gonna talk about the money that we got, talk about the girls that we're gonna get, and I'm gonna show you my chains in my car. Like that's the
Yeah.
That's the basis of the music, and you know, may move a couple bricks inside the music. You know what I'm saying? But that's the basis of it. Before we head out, I had one last question on my end. Movies. What's your favorite genre and why?
Genre of movies, I'd say probably action movies. You know, I think my all-time favorite. I got a side picture of Doc Holliday up there. I love Tombstone. That was one of those ones that I watched over and over again. So, you know, just like I'm a wrestling fan, I like the action. I like action movies. I like the escapism, enjoying a good action film. You know, I've heard the Red one is pretty good. I haven't got a chance to go see it yet. I heard it. It seemed like it'd be a movie that'd be like, I probably want to wait for Netflix on this because there's a good chance that it might be, you know, super corny. But I've been hearing it's good. It's pretty good. I've been hearing it's pretty good. I might need to go check out that one. So I'd say definitely action movies are the ones I usually go to.
Okay. I think that was it on my end. Nova, you got anything fired up?
That's it for me.
That's okay.
You were gonna ask my next couple of questions right there because I got to know people music and their and what they watching on TV or the movies because I love action myself, and like you said, the 90s and 2000s. Oh, I'm right there with you, brother.
Yeah.
For the 99 and the 2000s.
Okay.
For all you younger kids out there who may be watching this, there was a popular rapper by the name of Juvenile. That's what I'm saying. Let me stop. But
they should know that blew up on TikTok some years ago.
It sure enough did.
They should know it.
That is timeless music. I don't care what nobody say.
No one.
Cash Money took over for the 99 and the 2000s.
And the 2000s.
Literally. It's
literally.
not. It wasn't even a just something they were saying. They really.
It happened.
It happened. It's a bang. We lived it. It was a bang inside the music industry.
Yes. Yes, it was.
But before we get out of here, definitely want to thank you for sliding by, coming by to the show. Once again, go ahead and plug the book. Go ahead and plug Lockup, plug the date, plug the websites, let them know where they can follow you, all that good stuff.
Right on. Yeah, so Lockup's going to be available December 23rd. You can pre-order it right now. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. It's a fun, different type of book. It's going to be all these topics of the world, professional wrestling, the culture, all of how it clashes in between, how everything just locks up. It's going to you're going to check it out. It's going to be fun. Check it out on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. Go to mascotbooks.com and search for Lockup. You get a copy. Y'all can find me on Twitter at Lucha Lockup, Facebook.RayLopez.Lucha. Hit me up, find y'all. If anybody wants a signed copy, we can make that happen for them. Hit me up on the old Twitter machine. But yeah, it's going to be a fun, different type of book. I think once people get it and sink their teeth into it, they're going to have a lot of fun with it. It's a perfect read this holiday season. You're going to have extra time on your hand. Get it for the wrestling fan in your life. There's so many wrestling fans, you don't know, like especially with adults, we don't even get them. What are we going to get them? I don't know. Whatever they want, they're just going to go out and buy themselves. Here's something that you might not normally buy themselves. Check it out. You found it. Pass it on to your friend. They're going to love it.
Man, listen, that's all the promo we needed. I know I'm definitely getting a copy for some.
I'm definitely getting a copy.
I'm getting a copy for a wrestling fan that's definitely heavy into it. I may get one for the co-host, Cheech. May get one for him. May have to drop one off to a few other people, but definitely just expect 2 copies coming from me. Okay? Right. 2 copies.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. If anybody wants to sign one, hit me up personally. I can make that happen for you. Or you can just go to any of those outlets, get it for you. You know those people at Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, they'll get it to you right to your door.
Well, listen, don't tempt me with a good time because I will definitely like a signed autographed copy because this one right here is
This one
definitely
gonna go
going to be a good one. Yeah, this one going to go
Yeah,
up.
this gonna go up.
The concept of it, what you're talking about, how you laid it out with the chapters, everything being individual.
Exactly.
You can read this book backwards and forward and not have any issue. That
From the
is what I
middle?
like about it. You can start in the middle if you
You
want
can
to.
start in the middle.
Whatever chapter strikes your fancy, hey, hit it up first, man. There's all kinds of topics we're talking about. Whatever you like, we put some chapter in there. Hit that up first. You'll like the chapter start to finish. You're gonna like it. People are gonna like it.
Love it.
Oh, love it, love it. Well, in that case, let me go ahead and do this the right way. There we go. I want to thank y'all for tuning in, sliding through. Listen, too much negativity can have you unbalanced mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Spread more positive vibes. It takes very little to build someone up than it does to tear them down. Think about the logic inside that message. It could be as easy as doing a good gesture. It could be easy as, opening the door for someone, maybe letting somebody with them 2 items go in front of you with that large shopping cart that you have. Or you can go to whatmaneuver.net and grab this Positive Vibes Only apparel. You ain't got to get it for yourself. Get it for someone who may be going through something. Maybe them seeing this message of affirmation is a sign that things can get better. It's not as bad as it seems, okay? Maybe for the first time in a long time, you was able to clock in to work on time. Maybe for the first time in a long time, you was able to use the staff bathroom and no one pissed on the seat. Or maybe for the first time in a long time, you went through a McDonald's drive-through and they actually made your iced coffee right and did not forget to put the extra sugar inside there. Whatever it may be, spread those positive vibes. And on that note, just want to say we love y'all. Be easy. Make sure you follow Culture Clash Network. Make sure you follow Ray Lopez. Make sure you definitely cop this book. And as the children say in the street, peace.